Hi, I decided to do this live stream tonight um, because of Hurricane Idalia, which is currently, right now, as I'm speaking, making landfall on Florida. And I'm originally from Florida. That's my home, always will be. I don't live there anymore, but my family and friends and loved ones do. And after this last cataclysmic event that happened in Hawaii, uh, I thought it would probably be a good idea to get together with some like minded people out there who may want to hold space for those affected by these events, storms. Now, the way I look at it, indigenous cultures have always used the elements of nature as well as communing in spirit, whether that's through dance, song, using feathers, smoke, fire, drums. There's many things. Um, and these tribes would get together and have these ceremonial rituals, especially on certain days of the year or when certain things are going on in the cosmos, or lunar events. And there's a reason for that. And that is because when human beings connect together energetically in whatever way we do that, whether we hug one another or dance together or have a conversation back and forth, we are exchanging energy. And when these tribes would get together and, let's say, have a fire ritual and dance around a fire and, shake instruments or uh, stamp a staff on the ground or stomp with their feet or look at haka, which is it's one of my favorite forms of battle and dance. Uh, it creates an energetic field in that space geographically, wherever they are. And when people come together collectively, let's say in group meditations, then they are taking their spiritual, emotional, mental bodies of energy and they are putting them together with other people's as a collective in a non physical space. Whereas by performing rituals here in the physical world, in this dense material world, um, I do personally believe that by doing that or this, where we're coming together with one specific intention, that we can create change, even if it's unseen with our eyes and just energetically in our environment, which for all of us right now, we happen to share this beautiful place we call Earth as our temporary home. Now, to get a little conspiracy theorist, Anya. I won't go too deep on this one because I want to keep the energy pure. But, we pray for protection for a reason, because it's needed. Obviously, this beautiful planet we know as Earth or Gaia or Terra or Era or Ki, many names over course of time, but for now, Earth. Earth has been invaded. And you could think of it in a similar fashion to a parasite. Take a tick, for instance. A tick will hop on a dog or a cat or some other animal or even a human, and its sole purpose, its one intention, because it cannot exist on its own, it must have a host body and then attach itself, and it sucks the blood right out in the case of a tick. But these parasites who have invaded Earth not only harvest blood, but energy as well from human beings, us, as well as this planet, who happens to be a living being. And this parasitic invasion has caused dis-ease, and delusion, amongst other things. Earth is a playground, kind of like a school, if you will. We're here to learn, to explore, to discover, to be of service to the planet, the environment, and other human beings and other living beings, such as animals, while we're here to leave this world a little better when we go than when we found it. If you look around the world today, it's not so much a fun playground where children can just play and explore and learn and create and grow and imagine, and it's very much a controlled system, and that's a lot of the cause of a lot of the things going on right now. So with that being said, protection, yes. I'm going to use this space and this time to hold my intention for my family and friends and loved ones back home in Florida, as well as for the land and the environment, that it will brace and hold strong during this. I find it interesting as well, another YouTube creator who does some decoding work shared that the word or the name Idalia actually means behold the sun. And I find that interesting because I also do believe, based on my life experience, research, and personal knowledge, that we are very much in the end times right now. Whether people want to see it or not, and to each his own. Um, I I like the analogy, the biblical reference, which is these are but the beginnings of the birth pangs. We are definitely in the time of tribulation right now. Um, I like to explain it to people as a threshing floor, and this is very much, I mean, definitely read into my words here. I'm definitely using analogies and metaphors here, but conveying a very specific point all the same, separating the wheat and the chaff, the harvesting time, if you will. Um, as things begin to shift and change and evolve and expand, such as our consciousness, as well as the earths, as well as the suns, as well as animals, as well as plants, as well as the elements, even, all evolving, all transforming, changing, growing, expanding, if you will. It's no different than in our human lives. You know, we start this little peanut in our mother's wombs, and then we come out a little infant, and through time we grow and, form hair, and everything in creation does that. And with that will come a sort of separation, if you will. You can see clearly all over the world there are people choosing sides for this, for that, for the other, politics, uh, racial things, genders, even spiritual beliefs. Um, so, in a sense, it is a splitting. It's more or less a bifurcation. Um, Hi, that way. Sorry, I wasn't even paying attention to the chat. I was all in my channeling so I can get this message out. Um, I am not religious. I do not discriminate against anyone. I have friends who are Christians. I have friends who are Satanists. I have friends who are atheists. I don't care what somebody's belief is or non belief. Um, I've always based my opinion of someone specifically on that person. And I like to say it as whether they come correct or not. You know, if you're someone out there in the world who is helping, not hurting, telling the truth, not lying, giving rather than taking from somebody, encouraging or supporting someone rather than being forceful or militant or punishing or manipulative. We're in a binary system. Bi means two, you know, bipolar, biannual, bisexual, binary, two. So clearly, in a binary system of duality, up, down, hot, cold, left, right, dark, light, top, bottom, you can only go one way or the other. And any everything in between is only blurring the lines. So with that being said, I'm going to leave that conversation for another day now that I finally got my live stream app and a place to live, which is also helpful. You know, I am walking a fine line right now because I have just come out of 3 years of homelessness, uh, injustice, and illness. However, on the flip side, they always say hindsight is 2020, right? So in retrospect, looking back, I can see now that God or the universe or whatever, destiny, whatever you want to call it, higher power, the creator, was like taking people, places, and things out of my life that either were terrible for me or weren't serving my highest good anymore. And at the time, you know, it wasn't so pretty when your girl was knee deep out in snow and ice under a gazebo with a very thin coat on and a couple of bags and nothing else. Literally screaming to the sky, asking, why am I even waking up every day still? Like, come on. Like, it was movie moments of desperation for me in very extreme circumstances. Um, I do believe that most of that was my higher power making a way for me and removing things that were getting in my way. Yet, a portion of it was also acts of targeting and attack. I mean, anybody that knows me knows I am a conspiracy theorist. I do research and explore conspiracies to find the truth because I want to know facts. I'm a Capricorn. Like, you better show me facts with details and evidence before I'm even going to listen. So, wait, I'm reading my comments here. The law of two. Yeah, see, they have the law of one. I'm not really a fan of that whole law of one thing because it kind of goes right hand in hand with the whole New World Order and one world government. I'm not a fan of that. So, the law of two, I like that. Personally, I'm the law of three. It's always been me, myself, and I. So, realize, realize, realize. And I have been psychically, intuitively aware my whole life. So on my old YouTube channel, I did on my old YouTube channel for 3 years while documenting, journaling my journey every day, as well as my battle with Morgellons disease, as well as exposing corruption. I am very much a targeted individual, and on my old channel, I expressed a lot of my past. And how can I put this? Although I'm an unrecognizable person in this world, obviously not famous, I wouldn't want to be, uh, not a celebrity, not a politician, not a nothing, not nothing, but, if all of a sudden the entire world saw my face, nobody would know who I am. That's what I'm trying to say. However, although I have lived a very solitary life, I have had many, many, many beyond redonkulous uh, spiritual, psychic, paranormal experiences all my life. However, when I was a child, 70s, 80s, I just assumed I was some insane freak that I probably got mixed up with another child in the hospital and wasn't my parents. Like I was like, what is wrong with me? But, you know, today they want to label it, well, many things. The closest I've come to a formal diagnosis by an expert doctor here in this world, who, mind you, is book learned only, not book learned and experienced. Autism is what they would label me, is autistic. Now, there are different ends of the spectrum with autism. Mine is more on the higher functioning end of autism. With that being said, the one downplayed I don't want to call it a symptom, but thing with autism is ESP, which is extra sensory perception, which means something beyond your basic five senses: smell, sight, taste, sound, touch, things like that. It's an intuitive psychic sense. So basically, I explain it to people that I've always been hyper aware of my surroundings, seen and unseen. Now, later in life, I'm not afraid to talk about my experiences anymore, or um, hide from abilities that I may or may not have. But 30 years as a patient in the mental health field, multiple trips to psychiatric facilities, between 50 to 100 psychiatric medications over the course of 30 years, and probably upwards of 50 different doctors over that time. I walked out of many offices. Oh, 144 right now. If you know, you know. And many, many misdiagnoses later. 2018, I weaned myself off of the cocktail of psychiatric medications that they had me on after I had a couple of grand mal seizures. and then subsequently went through my own awakening. Um, I decided at that time to go plant based, and I've always used marijuana my whole life since I was a teenager. Being autistic or whatever they want to call it, cannabis absolutely helps me focus and concentrate, as well as having neurological issues. It helps with the pain of that, and nothing else does. I've been prescribed opiates, everything, and nothing touches nerve pain except cannabis. Um, and other natural things, turmeric, ginseng, things like that. Uh, I started doing meditation, yoga, learning about my chakra systems, learning about the harmful effects of aluminum and fluoride and, all these things, and started incorporating them into my life and trying natural remedies when I was sick with Morgellons, which likes to rear its ugly head every so often. I notice in it when I'm extremely stressed, and also on the flip side, on the conspiracy side, in my opinion, it is a parasitic disease, which means it is engineered. So again, going back to the targeting thing, the owners and controllers and rulers currently of this world and its systems, which are corrupt in every sector, don't like free thinkers, and especially don't like free speakers, because you can think all you want, but when you start speaking the truth, other people start to listen, and then the owners and rulers and controllers get very, very upset at that, because, well, I mean, there goes their control. So I was feeling very, very heavily guided to start really making some videos again. I took a good year and a half to 2 year hiatus off of social media, except my random, life update videos or Skywatch updates or connecting with my circle, who I found my first go round on YouTube. But as a targeted individual, all my accounts got hacked in 2021. I lost my YouTube channel. I lost my Gmail account that I had had for like 15 years. I lost my Facebook, which had 12 years worth of photos and memories and everything. And I had to move states. So I went from Pennsylvania to Florida, and then Florida here to Illinois, where I am now, over the course of 3 years. And many cities and shelters and park benches in between, but we won't go there. We don't live there anymore. So, kind of like what happened with Jesus. Jesus, when he was on this planet, spoke the truth about a real connection, stepping away from religion and the bishops and their capes and their staffs and their podiums and pay the steeple. And, Jesus is walking in there overturning the money changers' tables like he was a rebel for those times. And because he got a following and people were like, whoa, this dude's making sense. So why am I going to this building every Sunday, paying all my hard-earned money, and nothing's changing? But yet this dude's telling me that I don't have to do all that I can just connect. So, of course, like they do to all truth tellers who gain a following in this world and are listened to, they silence them, crucify them, cancel them, murder them, uh, attack them in many different ways. Martin Luther King Jr., John F. Kennedy, Tupac. There's just so many. It would be impossible to list them all. I will look at your newest community post. Oh, and since I'm live streaming right now, hashtag BCCRSS. It's illegal to use a legal name, come to find out. Here in inverted clown world where everything is topsy-turvy, upside down, blah, 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 inverted. So, of course, something that the world, and especially your friendly government, tells you have to do is, of course, something that's probably not going to be so good for you to do. But it's probably going to keep you under, I don't know, their control? Maybe. So I found that out through a friend, and I share that across my social media. I myself am struggling with this one right now. I have, since 2019, devoted my life and my path to the truth and basically surrendering anything I had ever planned for myself to be a sounding board messenger for the people who needed to know what was coming and what was going on. Now, there's only two ways to gain wisdom. One is through experience. When you experience something, you gain the wisdom that you learned through that lesson. Or it's divinely inspired. Call it a revelation or an epiphany. It is given to you. It is bestowed upon you. Whereas you didn't have to do anything to learn it. It was just shared. Yes. Frequencies. There's an artist, a musical artist. Oh, I love and adore. This man has probably lived in a parallel life to me as far as mental health and spiritual things and being suicidal and just addictions and just so many things that I myself have also been through. His name is King ISO, ISO, and one of his songs is called AWOL, AWOL. And in the beginning, he says, frequencies that we can't see low enough to kill us all. Soldiers calling, but I've fallen, can't reach me at all. Think I'm going anywhere. And that's very true that way. Frequencies are everything. You know, everything is energy. And as Tesla said, energy, frequency, vibration. Okay? Very, very important. And with these 5G towers going up all over the earth like points on a grid, when they light them all up, that'll actually make a field of a certain frequency around the earth, as well as satellites. Now, this is way out there, and I'm probably one singular person who's even thought of this one, but that's what I do. So who better than me, you know? You need to come up with an idea, call your girl. You need a solution, call your girl. You need some insight, call your girl. All the chemtrails. Now, I've been getting footage of these sprays and lines in the skies for years. Nobody's going to convince me other than what I've seen and gotten footage of and shared over the years. Mess after mess. And the research and the amount of hours I have put into researching everything. Chemtrails are comprised mostly of PM 2.5, which is particulate matter, heavy metals. And you can see when they first spray the line, it looks like just a jet trail, right? But then you give it about 15 minutes and it starts to dissipate. Then you give it about half an hour, and now it's like this blurred out blobby line everywhere. But by 3, 4 in the afternoon, you got full cloud cover in the sky. And then lo and behold, wouldn't you know, next is rain. So I would watch this pattern of the lines, and I even could tell when they switched and were putting even heavier metals because the lines were taking even longer to dissipate, okay? I don't think that's all just to block out the sun's rays, which a lot of it is for that reason. Because with the incoming cosmic rays of sunlight, especially with all the CMEs, the coronary mass ejections, solar flares that are popping off the sun, all of that cosmic light is awakening everyone. So, of course, they are going to try to block it out. But that's not the only reason. I believe, maybe I'm just the only one, but chemically and with metals, they can make a frequency in the sky. Now, I'm sure most everyone by now has heard since the Hawaii tragedy, which that was not a natural storm. That very much was a HAARP-generated, weather-engineered storm, and probably to hide the brightness of the laser, which came from a direct energy weapon. So everything's going viral now about the color blue, and that's true because these high-powered lasers cannot penetrate the color blue. So I found it very odd that when they were taking aerial footage of the aftermath of the Maui and Lahaina fires and all that, the destruction left behind, homes and buildings with blue roofs were left intact, yet every surrounding building was incinerated. Vehicles One blue car left untouched in a sea of singed vehicles. Rescue workers coming in with their little helmets that look like those old school uh, Greek diving round alien looking spacesuit helmets. Well, they're wearing all blue and blue shirts, one of those contracted groups, like we'll say UNICEF or one of them, uh, New World Order affiliated acronym agencies, one of them. So I started doing research into that, of course. And then lo and behold, of course, in Hawaii, whose big, huge mansion has a blue roof, and that was left untouched. Oprah. Or the governor's house was left untouched. How coincidental. So, this time that we're in right now, known as the tribulation, the threshing floor, this would be similar to a woman going through labor, about to give birth to a child. Very painful, very uncomfortable, very volatile. Every so often, then you get a contraction. Uh, you know, so that's what's happening. It's as if you could picture the earth like at the same time that attacks are being made on her and on us as human beings, we also, through God or the divine or creator, whatever you want to call it, I just don't like to offend anybody, but you know, the maker of all of us, all right, is also at work purging things that are either unhealthy or no longer good for us. The reason I also decided to do this live stream tonight too is because there's also a full moon going on right now in Pisces. I happen to be a moon in Pisces, so it is having an effect on me. uh, this particular full moon today is a full blue super moon in Pisces. I found that a little ironic too, that it's a blue moon with all the blue, everything else. So I know for the last month or so, I've been getting, you need to start your channel. And I'm like, no, come on, you need, and I'm like, oh, how am I going to do it? Because this is the line I'm walking right now, which is, I am a human being right now. I do want my creature comforts that I am by birthright entitled to, which is a private dwelling of my own, shelter, means to get around and travel, food that is healthy, water that is clean, and medicine that is organic or plant-based. Also, the fact that how do I even put this? I have to, for now, survive in this world as a human being the way the world is right now, whether I like it or not, because frankly, I don't want to die. So I got a job last year, and through that job, I got myself a car so I could get around. I'm pushing 50. I mean, it's not that easy for me to lug groceries and all this, walking in snow and everything, and especially with neurological problems. And that allows me a freedom that I didn't have through all that homelessness of lugging those bags and dripping sweat in the summertime, trying to find somewhere to get water, to literally freezing to death in the snow without any shelter. Like, I'm not really a fan of going back to that. However, I'm not looking for luxury either. I told myself when I got this job last year that it was not going to consume my life or be a priority in my life, but it was going to provide the one thing I needed, which was uh, a means to means. And I have a lovely coworker who offered me their garage apartment room. It's an efficiency for very low rent that I can afford realistically by myself. Um, and I really don't want to be without an internet connection where I can't connect to all of you. If I were to walk away from my life now and go back into the woods just to live off the system, off grid, and for a spiritual journey, I would be no good to anybody else. Okay, because I would have no means to communicate with anybody. So to me, it's like, well, it's kind of a waste after everything I've been through, especially the last few years, but in life, that's a lot. And I know there's a reason for it. To me, I always say, like, God would have never took me through all of these ridiculous experiences for nothing. I mean, like, literally, I've even said this in my prayer because I'm very real and very direct in my prayer. I'm not a fake, get down on my knees and I'm going to spout out some prayer that I'm not even comprehending what it means. I talk to God like real. And I have said 100 times, if I am on my deathbed one day and I'm taking my last dying breath and nothing at all transpired because of this and it all was for a waste, I'll kill myself. Like, come on, man. So, this is why I don't yet walk away, which, believe me, sometimes I work in fast food, okay? That's stressful enough as it is. But I've also been around like people. I deal with hundreds of customers every day. I talk to hundreds of people at work every day. When I'm in my own little space, I want that peace and solitude and quiet and privacy where I can just connect in spirit or sit and read and do research without being interrupted. I'm telling you, man, these shelters, lights out at 10 o'clock. You must be. I'm laying in the bed like this 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. Like, I can't conform to all these people, other people's rules and ways they live their life. Like, and then, so another reason, honestly, why I stepped away from social media is I did take a big hit. I I was defeated for a while. I thought, well, they got the best of me. There, they took it all from me. It's all gone. Now I have nothing. No way to even. I didn't have a phone for a while. I had a little free government cell phone, but no way to, do videos and all. So I was basically like in one of those, oh, fuck it, my life's over now, and then I was like, well, what now? I'm hacked. I can't even get my PayPal. Oh, that's a synchronicity. That, that, that you're there. Because there was a couple of years ago, there was a little donation made by somebody on a PayPal that somebody had. And lo and behold, what did I find out in 2021? That whoever had hacked all my accounts had gotten into my PayPal and rerouted whatever funds I had coming in to somebody else. I found this out through calling PayPal. And it was when a donation that I was expecting because someone said they made a donation to me that I know wasn't just making it up, wasn't there. And I was like, okay, they wouldn't have just told me. They know my situation and they would not have told me that if they didn't do it. So I didn't for 1 second believe that. So I called PayPal and I'm like, something's going on. And of course, I get somebody in a different country, oh, well, let me check your account. And da, da, da. I'm like, okay, is your name blah, 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 so and so? And I was like, no. Oh, well, that's where your money is going to, so and so's account. And I'm like, well, can you fix this? And he said, no, I'd have to close my account. So that's what I did. Long story short, but never got that because, yeah, yeah. So, I thought, okay, US.gov, amongst others, you fucking win. I was like, all right, I stepped away. And then other things happened, like I went to Florida and I had to stay with my sister for a little while. And it wasn't a good situation. I love my sister, but she's going through her own things. And I'm her sister. So, of course, she was like, well, yeah, you can stay here. But it was more or less out of obligation. And she's a single mom, and times are rough. And I'm not out here to be a burden to anybody. Like, oh God, I just like so basically what I'm saying is the culmination of all these things, I stepped back from social media and I was like, why was I guided to start all this if this is just gonna happen and I lose it all? I was in that moment. And then little by little, in Florida, I was at a women's shelter there, which was dorm style. So I had bunk beds right across from me and a curfew and no privacy and 15-minute showers because everybody's on a list, So that's how I've been living. And I just am like, half of me is like, please let me go back out into the woods and get away from people. But at the same time, I don't want to do that because that's my whole reason for being is to try to connect. So, yes, I currently work for the beast system right now. I hate it. Anybody who and everybody who knows me by now knows where I work. I have a long history with that place. Uh, and I find that very synchronistically ironic as well, too. The fact that, the king and all, what does the king wear on his head? Not a beanie. Okay? So there are no coincidences. And the funny thing, well, it's not funny, but here's the weird thing. When I was a teenager in high school, my high school was literally right across the street on a busy highway from BK. I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to get sued. Not that they could take anything. Like, what are they gonna take? My what? My cell phone that I bought myself finally. Mm, I don't have much, so but so I don't get it, shadow banned or anything. I was a teenager and it was my first job in high school. And I went across the street and I was so excited because back then minimum wage was 4.25 an hour and they offered me 4.75. So I felt like, ooh. And I was in the work program in my high school, so I got to get out of school 2 hours earlier than the regular kids and go to work. And then I got class credit for that. And my teacher would make stops at everybody's job and check in with their boss and make sure you're doing your job and everything. Well, by the time I was 18, I had become so good at my job that they offered me a management position, which, of course, being young and dumb and green, I was like, yes. But I had great training. I got corporate training in hotel conference rooms paid for by the company, Serve Safe certified, and food safety and sanitation and foodborne illnesses. I mean, I got a lot of knowledge, and I'm very thankful for that experience because I'm a great manager. And that's not just my Capricorn speaking. I have a proven track record with that. And it's because when I put that uniform on with the title that I have, I don't place myself on a pedestal. I treat my coworkers like coworkers and not like employees. And that makes a difference, as well as being highly organized and able to delegate and multitask well. That helps. But, so I work for the beast system. I find it hilarious every time somebody comes in with a customer. Every time somebody comes in with a customer. Every time somebody comes in with a coupon, because each of our coupons have codes. And we have one for, I'm not going to say the sandwich's name because if I say that, that's a registered trademark too. Starts with a W though. So they have two of those meals for a certain price, and the coupon code is 6662. And I always laugh when somebody comes through the drive-through or whatever and orders that, and then they have to say the coupon number. And I think to myself, well, you buy from the beast, you pay the beast prices. And then 9 times out of 10, when they read the number, they'll go, oh, or they'll say 66, 62. Or when they get to the window, they'll add something on so it'll change the price. If their total comes out to like 666, they'll add something. It's hilarious. But so, I'm trying to find balance right now where I'm not completely destitute, out freezing to death, literally, alone in the woods with nothing and no one. But yet, I'm not also wanting mansions and fur coats and jewels and all that stuff. I want balance where I can do what I need to do to survive in this world and have enough of what I need to just be comfortable. I'm happier than can be with that. So I am trying to walk that fine line, and it is difficult. However, it has gotten a little bit better since I got myself a car, which I couldn't have gotten without my job. Now I can get around easier and it saves me a lot of time because when I was walking everywhere, that's hours wasted just to get somewhere, to get something I need. It's like, so all these little things, a private space of my own where now I can sit and do a video and I'm not on somebody's couch with them sitting right across from me, staring at me while I'm trying to do a video or meditate or do yoga or at a shelter. You got dudes right around and you're trying to do downward dog position. For a domestic abuse victim, nah, not happening. I don't think so. So I got to take the good with the bad right now. Like I was saying previously, we're in a binary system. It is bipolar. It is a system of duality. I'm not an extremist. I spent the last 5, 6 years doing so much inner work and healing and transformation that the last year or so that I've been offline, except minimally, was basically pleading with the universe as to, okay, now what? Like 2018, I was guided, start a YouTube channel, you need to reach as many people as possible in the shortest amount of time. YouTube. And I was like, huh? I don't really want to do that. But I did. I followed my intuition. After the hacking, after the moving, after the illness subsided, after I was back home in Florida with my family, then at a shelter, then I moved up here to Illinois in May to stay with my son and his family. And that was okay. However, they have my grandbabies, 3 young kids around, so there was constant, it's a toddler house, so not any real, environment for quiet research and learning purposes or video streaming. But now being here, it's like step, and I'm not gonna slide back down into the pit of the abyss where I was. So I'm trying to find that balance, and I make a very mindful effort every single day. Like I told myself last year when I got my job in Florida, which I transferred stores to come up here, but I still work for the same company. And I got promoted too, go figure. But I made a deal with myself because last time when I worked for this company, I worked for them for many years, from the time of being a teenager, then progressing into management. Then I had kids, and I spent quite 6, 7 years at least. And then at that time, I had 2 of my 3 sons, who at the time were 3 and 1. And I used to have to open the store as an opening manager, which meant I had to be there at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I had to get 2 toddlers up at 3:30 every morning and myself, cart them off to my job, make them a little breakfast, meal while they're waiting in the dining room until the babysitter could get there at 7 o'clock in the morning and take them. And at that time, I was up for a salary promotion, and I turned it down. And I gave up my career to take a leap of faith and stay home with my boys. And my dad helped pay my rent back then. I was by myself. And then me and my ex got back together after that. Long story short, too late, I know. 20 some years later, here I am back at this same company, up for similar things again. Yet previously was before I had kids, and now is when they're grown and gone. And it's as if my life came full circle. Okay, so first time around, I was, a teenager or very early 20s, 22 maybe, 23 at the most. And now I'm nearing 50. So I took this time over this last year and a half, give or take, to explore all that. Where did I go? What happened in that time? And now here I am again. It's as if the universe brought me around a racetrack, and here I am at the starting line again. So this time, which way am I going to go? Well, the last time was, you know, sheltered child Jen, who grew up in a very religious environment and full of restrictions on my expression of myself, taking all the traumas of childhood and inability to ever express myself or be myself or whatever into adulthood, have kids. There was a lot of brokenness. A lot of brokenness. A lot of lapses in time. I have no recollection. I was high on something, drunk on something, whatever. Disconnected from myself, that's for sure, because I didn't know myself. I just always knew who and what the world told me to be and said I should wear and talk the way this, dress like that, don't do that. So, the first 40 years, Jen was a doormat and a victim and a mess and afraid and naive. And throughout all of these experiences, I realized, well, two things. Number one, I don't think I can die. If I haven't tried myself or had seizures, I mean, come on, or the government, come on. So when people ask for a miracle, I always tell them, I know I don't look like much, but you're looking at it. Oh, there's no reason I should even be alive right now. And yet I am. And not only that, but I am a better version of myself than I have ever been, ever in my life. I still have my vices and little things, and I might have a couple shots of whiskey from time to time, if I want to chill and read or something and change my vibe. Um, but I'm in control of myself and my emotions and my thoughts and what I allow myself to look at, to listen to, and what I choose to stay away from. I took back all that control, and it started by me learning how to trust myself and to have faith in my maker and to lose fear, because when you face death, and I'm not talking a near death experience, I'm talking real death and you come back from that experience, it changes you. And there is not a person on this planet, no matter who they are, who is going to intimidate me or make me afraid anymore. Nothing in this place scares me anymore. And being who I am, doing what I do, metaphysically, I've interacted with some not so cute and cozy entities in my time. So I'm no stranger to the Satans and other arch, I don't want to be too judgmental, archdevils. I think that's why God made me a Capricorn, honestly. As above, so below, like a hybrid mix. Horns, yet a tail. Mom. And what I found through this is that I guess I found my value and my worth in myself. So I go into work every day, into my job, where I feel like a hypocrite most days that I put that uniform on, knowing what I'm serving everyone. I absolutely do. However, I try to counter that by what I bring into the workplace, not just energetically, but in counseling my coworkers who, in this kind of business, happen to be mostly teenagers. And funny coinky dink there, that's been my dream. My goal is to somehow take all of my experiences, all of my sufferings, all of my traumas that I've been through, and turn it into a way to help others and say, this is how I did it. Now, I didn't have anybody to show me. I was legit out by myself, by the grace of God, under the stars, alone, and trying to learn all these ways of shadow work and healing and techniques and just winging it, which I do not recommend. See, for me, being the autist, my third eye has been open my entire life. But people who are just now awakening, or their third eye is just now opening, and they are just now accessing these other dimensions, they're not all glitter and rainbows. And I highly suggest that if you are someone who is new to meditation, yoga, or any metaphysical techniques, that you have someone guide you who is knowledgeable in these areas for multiple reasons. So at first I was like, all right, should I just get a counseling degree, a psychology degree, and counsel people, and not just be a book learned psychiatrist, but an actual experienced one? And I always say, how many of those doctors with their diplomas hanging on the wall can actually speak to their patients empathically, which means by putting themselves in the other person's shoes, which they can't do because they have not experienced severe depression or suicidal idealization or drug abuse or codependency or uh, unhealthy sexual fetishes, or you name it. Me, on the other hand, I got lots of experience. And the point is here I am at 46 today. My life to some may look like a complete failure. To me, where I have been compared to where I am now is complete bipolar night and day. So then I thought, okay, well, since obviously I can sense spirits and energies, and I've had multiple paranormal experiences my whole life, why not do that? I thought, if I'm going to be homeless or traveling around anyways, go town to town and do house clearings or something, or land, which is another thing. I think that whole journey was God basically like, you need to go to this town because there's some dark shit there that needs to be cleared, and I'm going to have you go over here because that shit. Now I see that. Then I didn't. I just knew I was in these places, and I was like, oh, why is this? Why is that? And then little by little and time after time, and then it's like, oh, okay, I get it. I see what I'm supposed to do. But I always wanted to work with youth 25 and under. I refer to them as kids because they're kids to me. And I happen to have 3 that are in the millennial age range. So I guess I'm a little biased. I call this generation the Broken Beautifuls because they were raised mostly by us in my generation, which is Generation X, black sheep, we were broken. And those of us who are still standing here today from Generation X, we're either one of 2 things. We're either better versions of ourselves now, or we're no longer here. However, these kiddos were raised by us, mostly in those broken days. So they have all had traumatic childhoods. And I wanted to do something to, I get so angry every day at these transhumanism agendas that are going on, where they are anatomically modifying children and blurring the lines between genders, or forcing things on kids that kids may or may not feel obligated to agree with. Because I remember as a kid, being the autistic little girl that I was, most autists like myself, we just want to make sure everyone we love is happy. And we don't ever want to do anything that upsets anybody that we love or makes them hurt or mad or less proud of us. So imagine a little kid who just wants to make mommy, daddy proud. So, of course, whatever the center of the universe to a child, mom and dad, says, the child is going to do. So you got these whack jobs out there that are going up to their 3-year-old and 4-year-old little girl or a little boy and saying, "Do you feel like you're a girl or you're a boy?" Well, I can tell you that having raised three of my own, at 3 and 4 years old, they don't know a thing and don't give a shit about anything having to do with sexual identity. Kids start to become interested in those things when they start changing hormonally, prepubescently. But sadly, most of the kids in today's world are inundated with all kinds of sexual media and violence and just, of course. And then you look at people who have a high status in this world who should rightfully be using their platforms to share a positive message, especially to the youth of the world, are instead making fools of themselves, just being good little elevated slaves like they are, doing what they're told. You know, you got some dude who's a Olympian now wearing a dress. My best friend, since I was 2 years old, is gay. And when we were young teenagers, he even drove me out to the beach one night and set up this whole thing just to come out to me at the beach. And I was like, new ball moon. Like, it's not new to us. Still my best friend to this day. I do believe there are people genetically on this planet who are homosexual or transgendered, who maybe their soul, which has incarnated how many times into different bodies and different life forms and different times. Could have been a man, could have been a woman, could have been this, that, a tree. Well, traumas don't always just happen in childhood. Sometimes they can be brought into this life from a past one that was left unresolved. So these kids today got on applications, male, female, non binary, custom. And now you got kids identifying with cats, saying, I identify with a cat. And they're actually uh, going to the bathroom in litter boxes. You've got teachers at schools who have changing closets in their classrooms. So if a little boy comes to school and wants to change into makeup and put on girls' clothes at school and then change back before they go home so mommy and daddy don't know, that's going on in schools. Yes, younger kids. Yes. And that's, I do. I still, I feel like a big kid still to this day. And, you know, that's the purity of innocence. The hottest commodity on this plane right now. You know, as there's a band I love named Slipknot. Some of y'all out there might have heard of them. Well, the lead singer, Corey Taylor, I always refer to him as my brother from another mother. And I legit literally could picture us as siblings. Like, he would be the annoying older brother, but you love them so much, but the annoying older brother. Yeah. But I resonate so deeply with all of their lyrics and visuals and videos. And as a researcher, I'm constantly putting all the dots and puzzle pieces together of multiple things. Like, the average person will just hear a random word like, uh, apple. And in my brain, it'll go apple to the color red, then to the color green, then to stems on a tree. Oh, but when you cut an apple open, you see the star on the inside. Apple is a fruit. Fruit is also this. And my brain's like connecting 8,000 trillion gazillion things all at once, while the average person is just like, oh, okay, apple. Yep. Okay, so that's a researcher's mind, or maybe an autist. Either way, their newest album, which is entitled The End so far, on one song, the lyrics are, when everything is God online, nothing is. And the only way I can try to simplify that into a way that people will understand is that if we as human beings, which are made in the image of God, containing the divine spirit within us and divine genetics, if we are not co-creating this world, there isn't a world to exist in. Meaning that everything that starts here and here that we dream about, that we imagine, that we envision, that we create in our minds or desire in our hearts, all that starts in the unseen and then eventually translates into our reality. Everything that is here in this world right now was a concept at first. Like the Bible says, in the beginning was God, was the Word. The Word was with God. Meaning you can't bring something into reality without first creating it elsewhere. Your mind, your spirit, your heart, with your emotions, with your imagination, by visualizing it. They always say, where your focus goes, your energy flows, or in order to manifest your reality, you first have to do it in the ethereal realms, and then it becomes a physical, manifest, tangible thing. So, in this world of transhumanism, technology, luxury, and convenience, who's creating if we're not? And why children so much? Who on this planet has the greatest of imaginations? So, who's got the highest stock prices? Look at Disney. Imagination Station. Imagine the possibilities. Everything is being harvested. Our consciousness, our energy, plasma from our sun, uh, children, blood, genes, cells, stem cells. And with purity and innocence, it's the closest to God you can get. And we all know that the MO of the parasitic invasion is and always has been to kill God, to take over the universe, to dominate, to play God. And look at how many ways: legalized abortions, so legalized murder, full term, in vitro fertilization, these women giving birth to litters of kids, trafficking. And yet you've got people on the highest platforms here, like Elon Musk, talking about birth rate problems. Well, gee, maybe if we just let nature take its course and stop having parasites teach men how to play God and let nature take its course naturally, organically, maybe we wouldn't have this problem. Maybe if overseas they had never instituted a one child policy. Well, I don't have to be the one to tell you what happened to the second child if that couple got pregnant again. Use your imagination. Genital mutilation. I mean, come on. And then we're going to talk birth rate? I very much stay up to date with what's going on with Batman for two reasons. Number one, he's pretty much the male version of myself out there. But number two, he's also my nemesis because as I advocate for an original organic path, the way of nature, the way of the ancients, he is for a technologically advanced future, which is artificial. And he's also spearheading the whole Neuralink implantable chip. Instead of a human's natural God-given ability to develop those meta-human, superhuman abilities like some of us have all had from childhood. Some people just haven't developed theirs yet. But you know what's going to be the seller? The selling key is not so much helping people with diseases or paralysis or brain injuries or Parkinson's or this or that. People are going to be told and taught to believe that they will develop superhuman abilities, which they will, as well as immortality through this chip, because it'll be like a computer. But instead of a metallic machine container, it'll be in a biological container, but it's still a program. So immortality just basically means this human body dies, you got to get a new one and then upload your consciousness into the new body. Is that really eternal life? Or is that just immortal, meaning you can't die? I kind of feel like that. So I'm telling you, it's not that great. Generational curses, yes, that is the parasitic invasion. Now, I'm going to be very much a minority in my next sentiment. But again, this comes from years of experience. I have interacted with angels who aren't holy and demons who aren't evil. So I don't like to use those terms like, oh, they're demonic or blah, 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 blah. Yep. The way my mom used to always say it is there are good eggs and rotten eggs. And in my opinion, in every species of beings, there are good eggs and rotten eggs. I do believe once upon a time, the dark and light, fallen ones and the exalted ones were at war with each other. And some are still. However, in the middle of that heavenly war, there was a parasitic invasion. So some have united forces, the dark and the light, to become allies for the greater good. Because these parasitic races, pardon my pun, but trumped the dark ones because they didn't want to take over the universe and control it like God. They want to destroy it. And in my opinion, just like supposedly in this country, innocent until proven guilty, which I disagree, I believe that everyone has a right to redemption. And I don't think, even if Jesus was alive today, sitting right here, right now, that any entity that came to him seeking the truth, seeking enlightenment, seeking forgiveness, or seeking mercy, I highly doubt he would turn them away. I think I'm going to close this live stream for now. Yeah, we are definitely in a dense material realm, that's for sure. So this body, yes. But, you know how they say, nothing is impossible with God. And that's exactly what I mean, is Once we all stop co-creating and dreaming and hoping and imagining and conjuring up in our minds and in our hearts and in our spirits, and everything is just online, what's left of the human connection then? And then, what would be the point? Thanks for listening to me ramble. I did not know this video was going to take a turn to explore all of these things, but I'm very glad it did. I set my intention before I even downloaded the software for this stream tonight to hold space for everyone down south. Trials and tribulations. So the rest of this year is going to be a doozy. And next year, well, we'll continue these live streams and we'll talk about it. And this is what the universe wants me to do. I'm going to do it and show this world that where there's a will, there absolutely is a way. And as cliche and annoying as it sounds, if I can have suffered and survived everything that I have, but not only that, have taken it and used everything to daily better myself and improve myself in every way that I can, then so can you. Organically, naturally, and a lot easier than I did on my own, because hopefully one day I can be that guide to help other people and tailor an individual treatment plan based on proven techniques that I know work, and do it in a unique way for each and every single individual. I'm so over all of these standard everything and mass this and average that. No, we're done with that. It's not the one pill will help everybody suffer. No. Or the one diagnosis is for everybody. No, we're done with those days. And each individual unique person matters and absolutely deserves to be able to express themselves however they choose. We just need to get it in a healthy way, because what's happening with the kids today is they're so confused and they just want to be accepting of everybody. And those are the people who maybe feel pressured to be accepted or think that they won't be liked if they don't whatever, or don't really know themselves, so they're trying everything because they just don't know and can't get any answers. Or if they were a kid like me, they just didn't have anybody in their entire world that would even come close to understanding anything that I was going through. So, I mean, I'm talking ghosts to shadow government things to child abuses to sexual abuse to physical abuse to suicide to loss of a child, loss of a parent, loss of a sibling, um, family issues, parenting, motherhood, uh, anything in the mental health or psychology field, anything metaphysical, occult, mystic, spiritual, or religious. Before I did any of this spiritual work, um, I had religion in my life, my whole life. Religion is man-made, and spirituality is having a connection and a relationship with the Creator, with the divine, that you don't need to go to a building or pay a steeple. It's just there. And I definitely like to teach these kids how to turn away from all these dogmatic, indoctrinated religious constructs and really seek a true spiritual connection with the divine themselves, because that is the only way anyone heals, is by reinforcing their connection to God. And if you don't like the term God, I'm sorry. I just want to use something that most people are familiar with, but the God word is even an iffy one to use, because then it's like, well, which one? Creator of all things. There is a divine, intelligent, creative force of everything. And then, of course, there are lesser deities, gods and goddesses, and, you know, all that, rulers of worlds, so to speak. There's so much to talk about. So I'm very happy to do this stream. I just want to send out in prayer to please send protection to the residents of Florida and all those in the Southern Hemisphere who have or are experiencing tragedy. Please allow the spirits of peace and comfort to be with them all. And I pray a shield of protection I send all my love. If anybody out there works with energy, I like to use plasma, so I'm going to use green and pink plasma light to send my energy and intention. And the green and pink is for the heart chakra. And as we all know, in Hawaii is the heart of the earth. And the tropics are my heart. So, if anyone would like to join with me right now and envision sending some pink and green, love-filled, heart chakra inspired plasma strikes to the southern hemisphere with me, I would be honored and greatly appreciate you. On behalf of my family and friends and loved ones and my homeland, thank you for being here with me. Many more streams to come, lots to talk about as we plunge right into, well, where are we at? September. The last quarter. So, we're going to talk about it. Much love.